Hello, and welcome to Cameron Chapin's class of How to Drive in a Roundabout. I'm making this as an informational video of how to drive in a roundabout just because we have a roundabout, well, now we have several roundabouts in one of my towns that I frequent in Wisconsin. Um, Go Pat, go! And there are a lot of people that just don't know how to drive in a roundabout, and it's I don't know. We've had this the roundabouts that I go through the most, for at least 5 years, and it's time to I guess, just learn how to drive in a roundabout. And this is partially as a work of frustration, but also a labor of love. Just because if you don't know how to drive in a roundabout and you've never had them, that's not your fault, really, because maybe you've been driving for 20, 30 years and you've never had to deal with a roundabout before, but now you do, and it's just, I mean, it's there and it's not going anywhere. So rather than get frustrated with it or just not know, now you have hopefully a short, concise, uh, informational bit to help you get through the roundabout. So without further ado, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a lesson, and hopefully it'll help clarify things. So the biggest thing when you go through a roundabout is to yield to the person on your left. So as you're driving up to the roundabout, look to your left, and if there's anybody, like if they're already coming at you from the left, you need to yield because the rule is to yield to the person on your left. I was at it was like a there was a talk show radio station, but they were doing a live presentation in a theater one time, and it was a couple years ago. And the police officer, well, first of all, the hosts of the radio station called out to the crowd, and they were like, "Does anybody know how to drive in a roundabout? Because, yield signs, and there's a a whole lot of yield signs, and do we stop? Do we yield? What do we do?" And the police officer in the crowd said, "You yield to the left." So I'm going to tell you that you yield to the left. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not always that simple because you don't know exactly when, but yield to the left, and I'm going to point you to the illustration now. So here's my little roundabout, and you, Mr. or Mrs. Driver or Miss Driver, are this little blue marker, except for when I use it to point to other people, which you're smart, you'll figure it out. So here you are, you're driving up to the roundabout, and yield sign. So you have this person over here, and they were already at the yield sign, so they're going, and wherever they're going, they're gonna go. So you stay there, stop, and yield. Once they pass you, now you may go. But if they pass you and there's another person not passing, or if there's another person, excuse me, in back of them, and they're also coming at you, you need to yield to them also, because it's just good practice. You don't want to get hit. So go ahead, yield to them. Once you see that this lane is clear, there's nobody in this immediate vicinity, and right until about here, then go ahead and go on your merry little way. Now, if you are here, little blue car, and there's somebody on this side of the roundabout, and they're here, they're at the yield sign, and you're at the yield sign. If over here you're good, and over here they are good, you can go because there's nobody to yield to here. They can go because there's nobody to yield to here. But if you wait until this person goes, once they get to about here, you really need to yield. And even if they start going, sometimes depending on the road conditions, it gets a little tricky. But if you go at the same time and you go around, or even if you're going straight, or even if you go here and they're following you, it's fine, because you don't need to yield to someone who's across the roundabout, because they're in the same position that you are. And if you both wait for each other, you're going to be waiting there forever. If you both go, it's fine because it's equaled out. But, oh, and if someone's coming from over here, you yield to the left. And so this lane is clear, this lane is clear, so you, little blue car, can go. Because if they're just coming from the right, they're going to go to the right also, and they need to yield to you. So this person yields to this person yields to here, this person yields here, and this person yields to here. This person has to yield to you, you have to yield to this person, and from right about here this general vicinity, I would say go ahead and yield. But other than that, if you see that this is clear, and that's clear, just come on and go your merry little way. Now, one more thing. Make sure that you're paying attention to the signs, because there are signs, little blue car, that allow you to turn straight or right, straight and left, or just straight. And making sure that you're in the correct lane will help you to avoid accidents and just be cognizant of what's going on and what's happening around you. So, yeah. I guess that's all the more I have for you today, so please make sure to yield left, be aware of what's going on around you, and drive safe. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day, night, evening, whatever you're having. Take care.